The year's 2006. I'm dining alone at Regano, devouring my main course of orchestra of pheasant, my intelligently designed right eye transfixed inside its biologically evolved socket. Stat, my 150-pound body was taut. Then the smell, yes, her smell, my nostrils reeled from her mingling scent of sex and lavender plant, the lilac crop's hitherto connotation of grandmother's drawing room, hereby forever forgotten. I'm woozy from the wild combination of intercourse amid fields of purple flowers, and not just because of my acute hay fever. My invitation, neither bequeathed nor requested, she advanced with refined stride towards my corner table and sat opposite me. She lit her Marlboro Red, romantically violating the smoking ban. "What's your name?" she asked, with velvety diction reminiscent of Fiona Bruce at her broadcasting peak, circa '03. I didn't respond. Not for the swelter beneath my collar, though there was one, subtext, hot. Rather, I'd a mouthful of the aforementioned pheasant, accompanied by poached pak choy and red wine demi-glaze, so I simply stared back, disguising my chewing motion as a sexual calling card. The silence enabled me to comprehend the breathtaking beauty before me, for this was not the sort of attractiveness one observes shuttling Buchanan Street day after day, but that which the lucky man might glimpse like the census decennially, or, in Sweden, half hourly. She tilted her head 25 degrees north, crystallizing her diaphanousness. Meanwhile, her toned legs were smoother than billiard balls. Her black dress clung to her bosom like Marmite on Hovis. She sucked her cigarette. But this cigar segment was most certainly not just a cigar. Like I said, it was a cigarette. My pheasant swallowed, her beauty beheld. I finally reciprocated her directness. "What are you doing tonight?" I asked, dislodging game from my molar with sensuous tongue. "At home, watching a film with my husband." Before I was able to respond, her mobile vibrated against the tabletop, not that the situation was short of sexual suggestion. She read the SMS. "Correction," she said, pausing a la Bruce, breaking news confirming my initial suspicion. "My husband won't return from business till tomorrow. Pity." "Why?" I said, smashing the Slazenger across the net. "Because I long for a man's passion tonight. But I'll be home alone with only my Venetian leather furnishings and a carafe of Mediterranean Shiraz for company." Like an animal, I demolished the pheasant. I wanted to lick the plate, not just because the demi-glaze was that delectable, but how I yearned so to deftly signal my primal intent. Alas, basic table manners and Adam Smith's moral philosophy prohibited me. "I'd like to drink from your bottle of red tonight," I said, metaphorically taking the bull by the horns while literally caressing her hard as igneous thigh under cover of timber table. She rewarded my forwardness by involuntarily groaning. At last, I was dominating the exchange. Theretofore, she'd had hegemony over me, but now that feeling was, paradoxically, communal. It was the erotic equivalent of mutually assured destruction, and we both had one WMD in mind. I gestured with Sotheby's subtlety to the attentive mixologist. I took the liberty of ordering us 2 gin sidecars. I know, strictly a pre-dinner cocktail, but tonight's rules were being rewritten. When the Sir Williams joined us, the beverages, she squeezed her citrus garnish against the Waterford crystal. That lemon slice practically whispered, "Suck my pips to me." Her hotness, my arousal, enveloped me. She was droving me wild. So much so I momentarily lost my ability to enunciate. "I can keep a secret," I purr, flashing my smile across the table. Oh, I would have unlocked my cock there and then, but as usual, that bloody Smith, the bastard, forbade me. Anyhow, That can wait for later, and the Shiraz-soaked Venetian leather. But wait, what's this? At once her ooh-la-la pout vanished. Worse still, it's replaced by the most egregious grimace. Even now, years later, I'm incredulous that my sweet, amid all her blinding beauty, was capable of such defacing contortion. She stormed out, like the night and the rushing air, to quote Stevie Smith, albeit somewhat out of context. But why? Was her sidecar that badly mixed? After I'd retrieved my jaw from the floor, I galloped for the door, following Miss Eastwood, my woman with no name. From behind, I grabbed her arm, which painfully reminded me of her famous billiard ball-like skin. What's wrong? I pleaded, desperate for her surrender. It was when you smiled, she said. All that game between your teeth. Talk about a turn-off. Get away from me, you loser.
Girl, I'm no Einstein, but I know what you're doing to me. Not like this is brain surgery. I know you're fooling around when you should be out with me. Girl, I'm not into the kind of relativity. That kind of relativity.